Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going deep. We're diving into a book that really caught my eye. It's called From the Trash Man to the Cash Man.
Interesting title.
Yeah. And it's by Myron Golden. Now, what really intrigued me is this whole idea of looking at wealth and prosperity through, a biblical lens.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this Myron Golden.
So he's got a pretty amazing story. He started out literally collecting trash.
Wow.
And then he built himself a multi-six-figure income.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole approach is rooted in these biblical principles.
So not your typical get-rich-quick scheme.
No, not at all. It's much deeper than that. And one thing that struck me right away is he challenges this common idea that wealth is somehow bad.
Yeah, that's a common theme. Like, if you're wealthy, you must have done something wrong.
Exactly. But Golden points out that rich is actually a biblical term.
Makes sense.
He even quotes Proverbs 10.22. It says, "The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it."
You know, that really makes you think, what if true wealth, the kind that comes from God's blessing, is actually meant to be a source of joy?
Right. Instead of something to feel guilty about.
Exactly.
And he goes even deeper. He dives into the symbolism of gold in Genesis. Did you know gold is mentioned 8 times just in Genesis?
I didn't.
And each time it's pointing to either providence, possession, or provision for God's people.
So like little clues.
It's like, yeah, these golden nuggets of wisdom hidden throughout the text.
I like that. Goldie nuggets. Give me an example.
Okay, we'll take the Garden of Eden, right?
Yep.
God put gold there even though there was nothing to buy.
Huh. That's an interesting point.
It is. So what does that tell us, right? Maybe opulence and abundance are actually part of God's original design for us.
Okay, I'm starting to see where this is going.
Maybe we're not meant to always feel like we have to struggle to strive. Maybe we're meant to actually enjoy the good things God provides.
Okay, that's a really interesting perspective.
Right. And Golden takes this even further. He argues that money itself isn't materialistic.
Okay.
It's actually a representation of value exchange. And even, in a way, it creates faith.
Oh.
He uses this great example comparing a penny to a $100 bill.
Go on.
They're both made of physical materials, right?
Yeah.
But the $100 bill carries a different message, a different level of faith.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's not about the physical object itself.
Exactly.
Right.
It's about the meaning, the belief, the energy behind it. That's what gives it value.
The spiritual side of money.
Yes. And just hearing this is already starting to, shift my perspective on money.
Yeah, it's definitely thought-provoking.
It is. And speaking of shifting perspectives, before we go any deeper, I just want to remind you, if you're finding this conversation helpful, please like and subscribe to Master Your Money.
We really appreciate your support.
Yes. We love bringing you these deep dives every week to help you take control of your financial future. All right, so let's get back to Myron Golden's teachings. He introduces this really intriguing framework called the 4 spiritual planes of earning.
Okay, this sounds practical.
It is. This is where he gets into how we can actually apply these principles to our work, to our finances.
All right, I'm all ears. Break it down for me. What are these 4 planes?
Okay, so the first plane, the most basic level, is implementation.
Implementation.
Yeah. This is where you're mainly using your physical labor to earn money, like Myron's time as a trash man.
Right, so it's about taking action.
Exactly. Then we move up to the next level. This is unification.
Unification.
Here, you're managing people or processes. You're bringing things together. You're coordinating. You're overseeing. Think of a manager, a team leader.
So you're leveraging other people's skills.
Right. Exactly. And then we move up to communication. This plane is all about using language to create value. So think writers, speakers, salespeople.
The power of words.
The power of words, yes.
Yeah.
To influence, persuade, and ultimately generate income.
Okay, so where do inventors and entrepreneurs fit into all of this?
That's the highest level, the 4th plane, which is imagination.
Imagination.
This is where you're generating ideas that shape the world. Think Steve Jobs and the iPhone.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about communicating existing ideas, but creating new ones.
Exactly. It's about bringing something entirely new into being.
That's powerful.
It is. So now the question is, how does this framework actually help us in our everyday lives?
Yeah, good question.
Right. So think about your own work. Where do you see yourself on this scale? And more importantly, what steps could you take to move towards a plane that really, utilizes your unique talents, your passions.
I like that. So it's not about looking down on any type of work.
No, not at all.
It's about recognizing there are different levels of value creation, and we can strive to reach our full potential.
And maybe, maybe stepping into that full potential, embracing those gifts, is part of stepping into those financial blessings that God has for you.
That's a really powerful thought.
It is. It's like we're all meant to be cash men and cash women in our own unique ways.
I love that. We really are. And that idea of potential, it kind of leads us to another interesting concept that Myron talks about, family business.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He really emphasizes the importance of building generational wealth.
And he contrasts this, this idea of kids leaving home at 18 and starting from scratch with this biblical model of a family-run business that creates this lasting legacy.
Right. Like, why not work together?
Yeah, to build something bigger than yourselves, something that benefits not just you, but your children and grandchildren.
It is a very different perspective, especially here in America, where we're so focused on individual achievement. But I can see how it really aligns with those biblical principles of family, of unity, of leaving a legacy.
Exactly. And, it doesn't have to be a huge corporation or anything. It could be a small business, a farm, a craft that's passed down. It's more about the mindset, this collaboration, building something together that provides for the family long term.
So it's like we're not just working for ourselves, we're working for something bigger, for a future that includes our loved ones.
It's a beautiful idea, really. And, that sense of purpose, that legacy, it can be a huge motivator when it comes to finances.
Oh, absolutely. It can really help us, stay focused on our goals and overcome challenges.
Speaking of challenges, I think one of the biggest roadblocks many of us face when it comes to money is, well, anxiety.
Oh, yeah. And Myron is very clear about this. He says anxiety is a dream killer.
Yeah, he even calls it our primary enemy when it comes to wealth creation.
Right.
Think about it, when we're anxious about money, what happens? We procrastinate, we might make impulsive decisions.
This is sabotage.
Exactly, because, deep down, we don't believe we deserve to be successful.
It's so true. He talks about how that anxiety can manifest as procrastination, self-sabotage, and ultimately prevent us from taking those steps toward financial freedom.
Right. It's like that fear and doubt just take over.
And it's like a little voice whispering, what if it doesn't work out? What if I'm not good enough?
Exactly. But thankfully, Myron doesn't just leave us hanging with all that anxiety, right?
Oh, no, he doesn't.
He gives us this really practical tool to combat it.
He says, replace that anxious apprehension with joyful anticipation.
Such a simple but profound shift. Instead of dwelling on what could go wrong, we focus on what we're excited about, what we're working towards.
And he uses this great analogy. He compares it to like a child on Christmas Eve.
Oh, I love it.
Knowing the good things are coming, right?
Yeah.
It's that same sense of anticipation and trust that we need to cultivate when it comes to our financial goals.
Exactly. And, it's not about ignoring the challenges or pretending everything's perfect. It's about choosing to focus on the positive, on the possibilities, on the abundance that God has already promised us.
It's like we have to reprogram our minds.
Right.
Replace those old tapes of scarcity and lack with this new soundtrack of faith and abundance.
And the best part, it actually works. When we shift that mindset from fear to faith, from anxiety to anticipation, we open ourselves up to this whole new realm of possibilities.
And if you're ready to start shifting your mindset and taking control of your financial future, well, we have just the thing for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Master Your Money for more deep dives into topics that can help you achieve your financial goals.
We're passionate about empowering you with the knowledge, the tools you need to thrive financially. And, we release new episodes every week.
Right, so back to Myron. He also talks about this really intriguing money management principle. He calls it, I can if my can't.
I can if my can't. That's an interesting name for a principle.
It is. And he actually says that if you practice this principle, you'll never be broke again.
That's a bold statement.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't go into all the specifics in the material we have here, but he hints at its power.
So like a little teaser.
Yeah, to pique our curiosity and encourage us to explore further.
It definitely makes you wonder, what is this secret formula that can help us break free from those cycles of debt and lack?
Right. How do we achieve true financial freedom, that security? And Myron seems to be saying it's not just about budgeting or saving. It's about something deeper, something that shifts our entire relationship with money.
And that's what I love about his approach. It's not just about the practical steps, right? It's about the mindset, the beliefs, that spiritual foundation.
Exactly. He's not just teaching us how to manage money. He's teaching us how to master it, to see it as a tool for good, a way to bless ourselves and others.
And that's a powerful message, especially today, when money can feel like such a source of stress.
It's a message of hope, really, saying that financial well-being is possible for anyone, no matter their background, their current circumstances.
Absolutely. It's about reclaiming our power,
Yep.
stepping into that God-given potential, creating a life of abundance, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come.
It really is. It's about rewriting that money story. And, that brings me to something else Myron talks about, this idea of seeking advice, but from the right people.
Oh, this is so important. He says we often take financial advice from people who haven't actually achieved the results we're looking for.
It's like asking for fitness advice from someone who's never been to the gym,
Exactly.
right? So we need to be really intentional about, who are we listening to? Whose advice are we taking?
Who are our mentors?
Exactly. And Myron really encourages us to seek out mentors, coaches, people who are already living the kind of financial life that we aspire to.
Learn from the best, right?
Exactly. And it's not just about getting the advice, it's about applying it.
Right. Knowledge is only powerful when it's put into action.
It reminds me of that saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
We can have all the information in the world, but if we're not willing to actually take action, step outside our comfort zone, nothing's going to change.
Trust the process.
Trust the process, yes.
Yeah.
And Myron's all about action. He believes that if we embrace these principles, if we replace that anxiety with that joyful anticipation, if we're willing to put in the work, financial abundance is inevitable.
So it sounds like he's saying God wants us to prosper.
Yes. But we have to meet God halfway.
Do our part.
Do our part, yes.
Yeah.
Step into that faith, take those inspired actions, and trust that God will bless our efforts.
It's a partnership.
It is. It's a beautiful partnership. And it's a reminder that, we're not victims of our circumstances. We have the power to create the life we desire, to build that legacy of wealth and prosperity, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come.
And if you're feeling inspired to take control of your financial future, well, we'd love to have you join our community.
Yes. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Master Your Money for more deep dives like this one.
We release new episodes every week to help you master your money and live a life of abundance.
Remember, you are worthy of abundance. You are capable of achieving those financial goals. And with God's grace and a little bit of effort, you can create a life of true wealth and prosperity.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into From the Trash Man to the Cash Man.
Thanks for listening to Master Your Money.